Hi, we're on the floor. The table is currently a Warhammer zone, so I didn't feel like cleaning that up. So we're gonna sit on the floor. I didn't post last week. I know that I made a little community post, I think is what it's called, just with a heads up. But the day that I was planning on filming, we had a pet emergency. He's doing much better now. It was scary, and was scary a couple of days after, but we got some blood work done and that came back beautiful, and we're just gonna keep an extra close eye on him right now. Bear is 7, so that is considered geriatric for large dogs. So unfortunately we're kind of just at that point where things might be happening, and I think we're still grappling with that concept. It's scary, but life has been hard and annoying and frustrating and scary, and I'm sure that applies to most of the general population, especially in America right now. So I'm trying not to let myself wallow in it too much. For this video, we are going to do what month is it? For this video, we're gonna do my July plant haul. And I know in my last monthly plant haul, I was like, we're not gonna get a lot of plants next month, which, to be fair, I didn't, but the world was nice to me, and I ended up doing a plant trade with someone who was so sweet, and I ended up winning some giveaways. So we're gonna go through, I'll show you everything that I bought, and then I will show you everything that I received or was traded. So we'll start there. At the very beginning of the month, and I know I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, my mom bought me those plant shelves. She also was like, what's your Venmo? I'm gonna send you some plant shopping money, because she knows obviously that makes me happy. So thanks, Mom. She sent me some plant money, and I had some Swan dollars saved up for, which is basically a coupon for my favorite nursery, for like 3 months. Every however many dollars you spend, you get an equivalent of Swan dollars. I think it's like every $10 you spend, you get a Swan dollar, something like that. And then after those 3 months are up, you go in, and for a month you can use those to cover up to 50% off of a purchase. So I had quite a lot of those saved up, so that with the money that my mom gave me, I got some really good plants. One is a wish list plant, which probably seems silly when you see it, but the very first plant that I got with my mom's plant fund was this guy. I kind of went on a carnivorous plant hyperfixation, and I was like, ooh, I really want a pitcher plant. Now I wanted not a Sarracenia, I wanted I think it's a Nepenthes, which are the ones that hang. I really wanted that, but Swanson's didn't have any, and I was like, sure, I'll get a Sarracenia. The reason why I don't want a Sarracenia is because you have to overwinter them, and it just makes me a little nervous doing that. I'm scared I'm gonna do it wrong. But with Nepenthes, they don't have a wintering dormant season, or like you don't have to basically like kill the plant over winter. But that being said, I am very excited to own this one. It sits in my kitchen window. It's caught a couple of things so far. I think there's a moth in one of these, and my roommates have been feeding it anytime, because we don't have AC, so we have a lot of like the windows open and the doors open basically all day, and most of them have screens, but a couple of them don't, and that's just a price that we're having to pay. If any bugs get in and any of the roommates catch it, they'll like trap it in with the pitcher plant, so they go inside of a pitcher. It's really funny. And that's part of why I wanted a new carnivorous plant. As much as I love my little baby pings, they are very small, and I was kind of hoping to get something to help with bugs. So I got him first. So I just ran in and grabbed that one day while running errands, and I knew I wanted to go back at a later point and like really take my time and pick something good. So I went back, I think it was just a couple of days later, maybe a week later, and I was looking around and I didn't see anything that was really sparking joy. And at that point I was kind of just like, I don't want to buy a plant just for the sake of buying a plant. I want to be a little more aware and conscious of plants that I'm bringing into my collection. I've been thinking a lot about getting rid of some or tossing some, maybe trying to trade some, or even just like put them out on the sidewalk with a free sign. But I know that there are some plants in my collection that I bought and then I just like didn't really love them. So I didn't want to do that again. I wanted to buy something that really brought me joy. So after walking around for like 20 minutes, I was just like, okay, I'm not seeing anything that is really, really speaking to me, so I'm just gonna go get some soil restock stuff, get some orchid bark, some perlite, whatever. And as I was walking to that section of Swanson's, they have their like succulent display, and I think I mentioned it in my shopping vlog, but I have had my eyes out for a fishbone cactus for so long. Every time I've gone to Swanson's for the past couple of months, I'm like, maybe they'll have a fishbone cactus this time, even though I've never seen one there. And as I was walking by, I like saw something out of the corner of my eye and I was like, no fucking way. I got my fishbone cactus. I am so happy. A couple of days before I got this, me and my boyfriend were actually watching The Wedding Singer, and there's like a scene where Adam Sandler's character is talking to his grandmother outside, and behind her she has this huge, beautiful fishbone cactus. And I was just like drooling over it while watching that scene. I was like, look at how beautiful that is. I want one so bad. And then I went in and I found this guy. He has been doing really well. I have him hanging up and he has grown quite a bit actually. I'll have to look at pictures, but I think he's grown like a couple of inches on each frond, leaf. I don't really know what it's called, but he's doing really well. I was a little worried because I have never owned a jungle cactus before, but he's happy, I'm happy. I love him so much. I think his pot looks really good with the color of his leaves, but he brings me so much joy and I love looking at him every day, and I can't wait for him to grow big and beautiful. And then while I was there, I was like, ooh, I've been wanting to grab one of these for a while and I just never have. This is just a little bear paw succulent. It's called bear paw because it's fuzzy and it has these pointy little things that kind of look like toes or claws or something on the end, and they look like little bear paws. And I probably wouldn't care as much about this plant if I didn't have a dog named Bear. Bears were not my favorite animal, like growing up at all. I loved them, but they weren't my favorite animal. And then I named my dog Bear, and I fear I have Pavloved myself to being obsessed with bears because of that. So I've wanted one of these for a while. He was $7. He wasn't that expensive, and I kind of just thought like, you know what, yeah, I'll finally get it this time. So I got a nice little bear paw plant, and that was it for like the first chunk of the month. The only other plant that I have bought recently is one that I got literally day before yesterday. I followed Green Reaper Co. on Instagram. She is a plant girly, and she's a plant and tattoo girly, which I feel like really aligns with my personal passions. So I really loved her content, and then I realized that she had a Palm Street, which Palm Street is an app that is like made for plant buying. And I went and checked out her Palm Street, and I saw this guy, and I immediately fell in love. Like, I fell head over heels in love with this guy. He is an Anthurium gator bod, which I mentioned it and I did a little unboxing video of him on my Instagram, and I definitely mentioned it then. And I've mentioned it anytime I talk about like Florida beauties, but I love Florida so much. I have lived there for a good chunk of my life, and I used to visit Florida every summer growing up. And anything that makes me think of Florida or makes me think of Florida's like wildlife, just really, I'm a sucker for it. So the fact that he was called Anthurium gator bod, and then I saw his parent plant. He's an Anthurium gator bod X self. So in the posting for him, she had a picture of the parent plant, and it was so beautiful. So I plotted and hummed and awed, and I finally got him. But he got here a couple of days ago, and he's been doing really, really well. He had this new leaf that he was putting out like right when I got him. It looks a little damaged on the end, but I'm not gonna be super upset about that. He put it out while he was being shipped, so that's kind of on him. But even these little immature baby leaves, I think are so beautiful. They're so velvety and dark, and I love the texture, and I cannot wait to see this one grow up. This is already one of my new favorites. It will continue to be so. I love him so much. I think since I mentioned Palm Street, we will go into the other two that I got from Palm Street. Now, if you like plants, you've probably heard of Steve's Leaves. They are a plant nursery shop place, and they have some crazy plants. They have lives on Palm Street, I believe twice a week. I think it's Wednesday and Sunday. So I went to watch one of their lives, just like for funsies, and they do a bunch of giveaways during their lives. And I managed to win one, which was crazy because I don't think I've ever won a giveaway in my life. I won one, and it was like a Plinko game for the giveaway. So if you're quick enough, you get to tell them a genus that you would like for your prize options to be from. And I told them Anthurium, but I think I was like cooking or something at the same time, and I was like an active thing while I was watching this live. So they like put out the options for the prize, and I went back to what I was doing, so I didn't hear what the options were, but they were like, what slot do you want us to drop your little Plinko guy down? And I was like, 3. And then I went back to what I was doing, and then I won something. And I glanced over and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, that's really pretty, but I didn't hear which one I won. So I kind of just had to wait until it showed up, basically. And they were also really nice if you are in, I think it's Washington, Oregon, or somewhere else. There's like an add-on cost that you have to pay for shipping, and I didn't realize that, and they left me a little note in my package that was just like, hey, for future reference, there's this little add-on for shipping to your area. Don't worry, we covered it this time, but we just wanted to let you know for next time, which was very nice of them. This is what I won, and this is, yes, okay, it is an Anthurium Blue Velvet X Self, which I had definitely heard of Blue Velvet before, but didn't like really know it. So I did a little bit of research, looked up some pictures, and it's beautiful. It's a stunning Anthurium. Which, by the way, this is kind of funny because I think my last video was my philodendron collection, and I was like, I would love to do an Anthurium video, but I don't have that many. I got a lot of Anthurium this month. That's just how the cards fell. But this is a beautiful little seedling, very velvety. He actually came with a little offshoot friend that I included in my trade that I'll go through in a minute. But he's been doing really well. He's been acclimating. He has a new leaf coming out. I think this leaf might not be the happiest, but they went from like a luxury spa to my home. So there is a little bit of unhappiness sometimes, and I'm okay with that, but he seems to be doing really, really well. And I'm very, very excited to see this one grow. I was so excited that I won my first giveaway, and it was a plant. But he's beautiful. He's velvety. I think he even has a little bit of, I mean, he's called a blue velvet. So one would assume that he's got some blue to him. And I really do think that he does. He's beautiful. I can't wait to watch him grow. And then last week, basically the same thing happened. Someone on my Instagram, because I mentioned like I was going through a bit of an Anthurium phase, which I've been through an Anthurium phase before, but I didn't like know how to gain access to Anthurium super well. So I was just like buying what I could when I could. Now that I know that there are more ways to get them and how many they are, like now that I'm more educated on Anthuriums, I'm really going through another Anthurium phase. But I mentioned that on my Planty Instagram, and one of my mutuals, who I think is Mike Plants, he mentioned, hey, this person is doing a Palm Street Live tonight, and they're gonna be giving away some of my Anthurium that I have bred and a bunch of other things. It's gonna be really crazy. You should definitely tune in. So I did. I found the person's Instagram. They are Planty Weeb. I followed them on there, and then I followed them on Palm Street, and I had to work that day, so I was only able to tune in for a little bit of time. So I didn't expect anything to happen, but I tuned in and I won the second giveaway, which was right when I needed to leave for work. So as I'm like scrambling to get out the door, I won this plant, and my signal was like kind of cutting out, so I didn't hear what she said I won. And then she shows me this little baby plant, and with Anthurium, when they're really, really young, you can't really see any of their like special features that they're gonna have. They all kind of look the same. But she was like, oh, let me show you what like an adult one is gonna look like. And then my video like completely cut, so I did not see it at all. And I messaged her afterwards and I was like, hey, this is kind of silly, but my signal cut out and I didn't get to see what I won. Would you mind letting me know? And so she sent me a message and was like, yeah, absolutely, let me find that information. And then she told me, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be a stunner. Now, this guy was living in basically a communal pot, which I think means he was living in a pot with a bunch of other seedlings. So they were all kind of fighting each other a little bit for sustenance and light, whatever. That's just how seedlings are grown. It's easier that way. So she did warn me that he would look a little rough, but he was in good condition, and he is. This is my brand new, I got this yesterday. It came yesterday on the very last day of July. This is an Anthurium Dresslerii NSC crossed with a Carla Blackier PM1. I know that a lot of that is like nonsense words if you don't know, but those are some killer parent plants. He's gonna be so pretty. I don't even think I've shown you him yet, but he's already got some bumpy texture. He's gonna be so good. And they wrote my username on it, which made me giggle. That was really cute. But I'm, again, very excited to watch this grow. I have been so lucky, and I know that the plant community is so kind, and it's like truly been one of the only things that's been getting me through the days without having like MNTB. But I'm very excited for this guy. Thank you so much, Planty Weeb, for hosting that live. And they're really cool. I will list everyone's usernames, and I will try to link what accounts I can in the description. Definitely go follow them. They're amazing. Green Reaper, love her content, love her aesthetic, love her plants. I will be purchasing from her again. Steve's Leaves. They're amazing. They are as popular as they are for a reason. And then Planty Weeb, so cool, amazing plants. And her live was, for the bit that I was there, was really fun. Now we're gonna go through the plant trade. I have a little bit of clips from right before I went to trade, which me and this person, I believe their name is Vlad. I know their username is Vladdy's Plants, so I'm gonna call them Vlad. Me and Vlad have been like trying to schedule a day to meet up, and it just like wasn't happening. They're either either I-5 was closed down for the weekend for some fucking reason, or like we just weren't available. So at a certain point I was like, are you okay with just like driving to my work and like I'll meet you nearby and we can trade? And he was like, yeah, let's do that. So I'll insert the clips of me gathering everything last minute before I went to work for the day because suddenly I needed to gather all of my trade stuff. But here's that. Hello, good morning. I didn't plan on filming this today, but I'm doing my first ever plant trade. This is different from the plant swap. The plant swap is more of a like group thing. Plant trade is like one-on-one. And I was gonna meet up with them tomorrow on my day off, but we're actually gonna meet up today on one of my breaks from work to trade everything. So I'm gonna go over what I am trading them really quickly. Just so you know, they're being so nice. They only asked for like 3 or 4 plants for me, 2 or 3, I don't remember, around 3 plants for me, and they're giving me so many in return, which is really, really sweet. This is what they're getting from me. I'll put you here. How's that? Excuse my glare on my glasses. So this is the base cutting of my philodendron Campos partuenum. It has 2 active vines on it right now. They asked for cutting. I was like, I will give you my base plant because I meant to take this to the plant swap and I forgot to grab it. So this will be going to its new home. Plant number 2 is not even a full plant. They asked for a cutting from my variegated micans, and I told them that I didn't really have any successful cuttings yet. I only had fully variegated ones, and this is just going to be kind of a for funsies to see what happens in their care. The stems are fully white, but again, for funsies to see what happens. I did promise if I get this one to work and grow for me, I will give them a cutting later on, just like as an IOU. I would be more than happy to do that. And frankly, if this one fails, the chances of me buying another one at some point are very high. So just having an IOU, but this is gonna be a placeholder until then. We are getting some Begonia ferox cuttings. These have crisped up a little bit since I cut them, so they look a little rough, but I have 3 leaves in here, and I'm looking at one and it looks like it's starting to root. But if anything fails with these, again, I would be more than happy to give them even more. I have 2 ferox plants at this point, so I'm not shy about this guy at all. So these are going to be the 3 that are going. They did ask for a cutting from my Begonia palensis, but it finally croaked on me. It is the first plant that I have killed in almost a year. Sad. Hopefully I'll get my hands on one again at some point, but I'm wondering if I should throw in any. They have a lot of plants, and I don't want to like give them anything that they're not like interested in. Like I want to throw in some freebies, but I don't know what freebies to throw in. You picking up what I'm putting down? Maybe I could do my little firefly baby. I don't know. I'll walk around and see if there's any cuttings of anything that I think that they would like. We'll see. But for now, they're getting the philodendron Campos partuenum Begonia ferox cuttings and fully variegated micans cuttings, and that's what we're going with. If I add anything last second, I will let you know. Duh, I forgot something. They asked for a cutting from my King Clarinervium, whatever. So I took a bottom chunk cutting from it and potted that up, so that will also be going with them. Okay, bye. Last little addition, I won this Blue Velvet X Self in a Steve's Leaves giveaway on one of their Palm Street Live things. And and when I got it, it had a little baby in with it, so I separated them, and I was like, ooh, I don't need 2 of these. So I just asked if they wanted this one. They said yes please and thank you. So they will also be getting this little tiny, I'm sure it's the exact same plant. It looked kind of like an offshoot, but also kind of not. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm pretty sure it is the same Blue Velvet X Self. So he's getting this guy. And then he met up with me on one of my 15s. I found him and we traded, and he was so sweet. I did not give him very much. I am going to give him pollen from one of my Anthurium inflows that actually just opened. So I need to keep a really close eye on it and make sure that I get it when it has pollen. But he was so nice. I gave him maybe like 5 plants, and he gave me, I genuinely, I don't even, I don't even know where to start with what he gave me. There's Hoyas, there's begonias, there's Anthurium, there's some Monstera. It's crazy. So I think I'm just gonna like, I'll probably have to list the actual, like I'll probably have to put the name on the actual screen, because I haven't had these plants long enough to memorize what each one of them is yet, and he threw some extras in for free, but there's a lot. So I want you to know what I'm talking about, and I want to, you know, work on memorizing who's what. I know I have some begonia taconite in here. I moved some, he gave me this cutie little prop box, which is literally just like a food container, but works fantastically as a prop box, and it's filled with stuff. And I took some things out that were already rooted and went ahead and planted them up. So this is a Hoya. I couldn't tell you what kind. This is I believe a Hoya insularis, which, look, come on, these leaves are so sick. I'm so excited for this one. I think, like, I'm not a huge Hoya girly, but every now and then some of them really speak out to me. That's one of them. This is another Hoya who is rooted up. I'll have to try and pot that up soon. This might be a Papillium aureae something. It's another Anthurium that I'm very excited to watch grow. I moved some of the cuttings into my own prop box, mostly because I personally have more success with begonias in perlite. So I wanted to have some in the moss that he gave me, and then I wanted to have some in my own perlite. So I think this is a begonia neogenesis. And then we have some cane begonia. It might be is it literally just called a pink dot begonia? I don't know, but I'm really excited because I've wanted to get my hands on a cane begonia for a while. So that was a little freebie that he threw in. And there's another cutting in the prop box, but I'm very excited about that. I think this is obviously another begonia, but I can't remember if it's the taconite or a different one, but I have those guys in there. And then in the big boy prop box, look at this. This is insane. Okay, I have more of that neogenesis one. I have more of the cane begonia. This is a mandula cutting that I actually took from my own plant and stuffed in here because I was like, I don't know, let's see what happens. He did give me a mandula cutting that I potted up with my plant, so whatever. This is, I believe, a philodendron gigas. I have some Monstera obliqua maybe. More of that really pretty begonia. Some more. I'm really excited for this Hoya because it looks, I think Wildfern describes it as like prehistoric, and I could not agree more. Again, can't remember the name. I'll put it on the screen. It's super cool. This was a freebie that he threw in. It is a Scindapsus, which I'm not a huge Scindapsus girly, so this will probably be my one and only, but it's one of those, like, I think they all look similar enough that I would only ever really want one, and now I have one. some more Hoya. It's just like there's so many. He gave me so much and he was so nice. And that was also like my first plant trade with someone. So sweet. I know one of these Hoyas is called Hoya Potsii, and I don't think it visually appealed to me a lot when I looked it up. I was like, that's not doing a whole lot for me. But I am named after my great grandmother, and her nickname was Potsy. I don't really know where that came from, but her nickname was Potsy. The fact that this Hoya was called Potsii, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I needed it. I loved her very much before she passed away, so anything that makes me think of her, I'm kind of just like, that's nice, I want that. And when I looked it up, I remembered like most of the pictures that was kind of like neutral on the plant, but I saw a couple where I was like, ooh, that's a really good specimen. He had a really good specimen. I am actually so excited to watch this one root and grow. I know I just keep saying like, I'm so excited to watch this one grow, but I am. I'm so excited to watch all of these grow. I hope that these all root up really well. So far, a lot of them are. I'm gonna close this guy back up. I actually have a dream to possibly one day, once these are all rooted or once I have a bunch of like repots stacked up that I need to do. Since I'm crawling towards 1,000 subscribers on here, I kind of like to celebrate or to note it. I don't know. I wanted to possibly do just like a Q&A while I'm repotting, a little repot Q&A. So let me know what you think about that little idea, but I think I have a lot of really good plants that will hopefully be ready to pot up by then. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this guy. Green Reaper Co., which is the one where I got the Gator Bod from, which I don't think I mentioned it. This is Gator Bod X Self, but Gator Bod is a hybrid of gator skin and dad bod. She also gave me a little freebie, which is a Fontanimal Noid crossed with a Long Bullet X Ace of Spades. So first plant parent Fontanimal Noid, which hers is beautiful. I like went and like stalked her TikTok to try and like figure out which one it was, and she literally was just like, look, this is this is my Fontanimal Noid. Beautiful plant. And then a Long Bullet crossed with an Ace of Spades. I love anything that is like Ace of Spades, King of Spades, and the Long Bullet looks really, really cool. So this little guy is gonna be, he's gonna be yummy when he's bigger. But I think that is everything that I got this month. I'm pretty sure. Oh my gosh, he also gave me this Anthurium Wendlangerii. I cannot say that one out loud for some reason. I can read it just fine. You know, it's the strappy one. It's the strappy Anthurium. So now I have two strappy Anthurium. He was amazing. I will tag everyone that I can. I'll put their username on the screen. I will try to link them below. But the plant community has been very, very nice to me lately, and I really, really appreciate it. And I don't even think that's like they're being nice to me. I think they're just nice. It's just a really nice community to be a part of. So that's been kind of giving me a little pep in my step lately, which is much appreciated. This is so many. I have so many Anthurium now. It makes me so happy. I'm trying to like reorganize my little shelf over here to be mostly, if not all, Anthurium. So I've been shuffling things around. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I am so thankful. And everyone is amazing. And I love them so much. So with that, I will see you guys next week. I think next week will be, I'm feeling a plant chore video. I think that'll be fun. I think I've kind of like been pretty hands-off with my plants lately, and I'm sure that that has nothing to do with life being extra rough and me not being at 100%. But I think I have some guys that would require some attention soon, and I don't know, I'll find stuff to do. But I'm thinking a plant chore video next, so keep your eyes peeled for that. if you would like to subscribe, that would be nice. If you want to leave a comment, let me know which of my new plants is your favorite from this month. We'll see what next month brings for a plant haul. I'm gonna assume it'll be less than this month and last month, but yeah, I'll see you guys later. If you want to follow me anywhere else, I am Pretty Pluto Kitty on everything, everywhere, and my plant Instagram is Pretty Planty Kitty. If you want to subscribe, that would be cool. If you want to comment, that would be cool. No pressure, but I will see you guys next time. Bye.